This podcast was recorded on Gubby Gubby land and pays respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Welcome back to the Potty Queen. How are we all going on this fine morning or afternoon or whatever it is while you're listening to this episode? Look, your girl just felt like getting on and having a D&M. These are my favorite episodes to record. I am currently laying in my bed. It's like 2 p.m. on a Saturday. I've had a really productive morning. I'm feeling really good. I just finished up doing a yoga flow in the sun because it's starting to get a bit cooler now. Like, we're not in winter, we're in autumn, but it's like the air is cold. It's not just like fucking horrible outside like it has been, because here in Queensland, Australia, look, it's like disgusting in summer. It is so gross. So it's just been a really nice wholesome morning. My partner Jai is actually out jet skiing with his friends. I tapped out of that one because I swear to God, like, he just is a psycho on the jet ski. Like, I'm like, go slow. And he's like, slow? 100 kilometers an hour. My fucking bra is breaking and my boobs are going everywhere. It's just not a vibe. Like, sometimes I go, but I'm just like, we're in our luteal phase. We don't really feel like that today. Anyway, I felt like I said, I'm lying in bed, right? The dogs are here. You can probably hear them sniffing in the background because Luna is just like, she's like, why am I not getting all the attention right now, Mum? I have a empty yogurt container next to me because I just had some yogurt, and I'm just like, it's just one of those big fat vibes where I'm like, let's have a chat. So I want to talk about what I've actually been navigating for pretty much the whole year, because this has been the most challenging year yet for me, but it's allowed me to see so much about myself. And I feel like seeing it from it's like always based on perspective, right? Like, things happen and you can either choose to be victim to it, or you can kind of choose to be like, okay, cool, what lessons can I learn from this? And I really feel like this year I mean, not just this year, like in general, I usually am quite an optimistic person, but this year it's really allowed me to see that, like, you can have both. Like, you can have a bit of like, whoa, why the fuck did this happen? But then you can also have like that, this is why this happened and this is what it opened up for me. And before I get into like actually everything that happened, I want to so at the start of the year, I did like a episode before I rebranded my podcast and everything. I did an episode called like the year in advance. What did I even call it? Honestly, what did I call it? It was like the year ahead or something. I did a intuitive, like, this is what I'm thinking is going to happen in each month of 2024. And I actually want to do a little bit of a recap because we're currently in April, and I feel like for me, I've looked back at it a little bit, but like, I've been quite navigating a lot, so I haven't fully been present with like what I predicted, but I wanted to quickly go through it. So for January, I got Spirit of Gratitude, feels like a third eye activation, overflowing cup, darkness is behind you and it's time to step into the light, listen to the intuition, lessons to solidify, and the intricate connection of life. So this makes so much, as I just said that, oh my God, it literally went to 1111. Anyway, like, not the time, the something on the thing I record on, never mind. I just saw angel numbers and I was like, oh my God, yes. Anyway, this makes so much sense for me because in January was when a lot changed for me. My nan passed away, and I'm going to go into this further in the episode, but reading this back, I'm kind of like, it's so interesting because a part of it says the darkness is behind you and it's time to step into the light. And when I read this, it's like I said, I feel like my nan passing away, although it's been literally the hardest thing I've had to navigate, it's like I see that part because it was like almost like these old identities of myself were in the past, and it was time to step into like who I actually am on like a more spiritual level. And like when my nan passed away, it was such a spiritual activation for me. I know that might sound a bit fucking crazy, but honestly, like, so much transpired from that. So I had so much gratitude that I could be right by her side the entire day that she was taking her last breaths, and like the gratitude of just like the relationship that we had and things like that. So that January one literally landed for me. Also, if you like listened to that intuitive reading one, or like you hear these ones and you like actually resonate, please let me know, because I'm like, am I a psychic? Well, I know I am, because I literally dream shit into reality all the time. So I'm not doubting myself, but it would be cool to like hear if like you guys listening, maybe it like lands. I don't know. If it doesn't, like, that's absolutely fucking fine. And then February, I got opening to discovery, opening the depths of the heart, allowing magic and wisdom to be set free, seeing the lightness in the dark night, holding the key and the power, deep connection and oneness, and emotion and ocean or something. Self-discovery and revelations. Okay, this is actually cooked, because February, I could not explain February any clearer than that. That is literally, so February for me, we had my nan's funeral. My partner and I went away on a holiday together to South Australia, literally the day after my nan passed away, because we already had it planned. And then it was kind of like, yeah, like I needed that time to just really like actually allow myself just space and just to be held by Jai and just all the things. But the opening the depths of the heart, like my business mentor, shout out to Tay, best fucking bitch ever. But like my intention going into our space that opened in January was like, I wanted to open my heart. And I can literally hands down say that February was like when my heart fully fucking cracked, because it was like, I remember saying to Tay, I was like, oh my God, like I set the intention to open my heart and I didn't mean it to crack into a million pieces like when my nan passed away. But it's like, isn't that so just interesting? Oh my God, interesting that I kind of already, I knew the vibe anyway. And like just the, seeing the lightness in the dark, and like, I feel like I said, just trying to stay really optimistic through, all of like that I had to navigate with my nan passing, and just like being that, yeah, like seeing the positive in it. And like, even though it's such a hard thing to navigate, it's like she was unwell for a very long time, and just seeing that she's like out of pain, she's like feeling better, hopefully, all the things. Anyway, I'm going to get into all of that like after, so I'm just going to quickly smash through this. So March was, the world is in my hands. I have accumulated the wisdom. I can unlock the world of my dreams. Up in the clouds, held by the divine. Infinite trust and connection to source, held and wishes granted. Unlock more of my heart. Bro, this is actually so cooked, because like it's just so landing for what has, like, March was like the hardest month of my life. Like I can hands down say March was the absolute hardest month of my life. I think February, there was still a lot going on with like the funeral and just like all that stuff. And then March was kind of like when it was like, holy fuck, like I'm pretty not myself. And it's just really interesting, because it was like the whole time I was in that lull in March, I was like, I just knew that it was like an integration. I don't even know. I don't want to sound like, oh, no, okay. Me getting stumbled on my words. Holy shit. Okay. I feel like in March, I knew that it was happening for a reason. I knew that I was feeling that way. I was sleeping all the time and all the things because of it. It's almost like, okay, this is going to actually sound fucking crazy, but like, it's genuinely like when my nana passed away, I took on like fragments of her soul. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. I actually don't know. Like, I haven't looked into any of that stuff. Honestly, I have no fucking clue. But it's like March was like integrating that. March was like maturing. It was like a different energy. It was like this really inward maturing of like woman energy. I can't explain it. But March also brought for me so many opportunities. But it was like literally how I said, held by the divine. It was like I was getting gifted these opportunities, getting gifted these like, step this way, like go towards this thing, like this is your path this way, like all these little nudges and things. But like I wasn't being forced to completely take action yet, because it was like I needed that space to just literally recover. So I can just so relate to that, because March was like, okay, I've got like all these ideas coming through. I've got like money still supporting me, but I'm like canceling every client because I just don't have the space right now. And like that would happen, and then something else would work out. It was just like, I was just so held. Like there was just so much spaciousness for me to just actually just like literally surrender. So I love that. And then April, well, it's only at time of recording the 13th of April, so we'll see. But April says divine feminine, the growth of the gratitude, new beginnings, soft and healing, crown activation, connection to light and angel. Oh my God, that's actually cooked. Okay, I'll explain it in a second. And then it says a soft and slow season that brings healing, grace and abundance are falling away as life comes anew. Oh my God, I'm almost going to cry, guys. Like, this is so cooked. I know that I like am the one who predicted it, but I haven't looked at it. Oh my God, okay. It's just so cooked because literally this morning I have like 20 million different oracle card decks, and the one I picked up was like angel cards. Like it was like angels of your, anyway, something. But I also just started a new Instagram page for my Bowen therapy, which is like such a new beginning because I want to still educate you guys, or just like whoever fucking cares, about the Bowen therapy side of my business, but I just don't think it really suits my like Sacred Space with Tanika Lace account. And like that's just so fucking weird that like it literally says new fresh beginnings. And I don't know, I feel like it'll just make sense. Anyway, let's stop reading those and let's like actually recap what's been going on. And like I'm sharing this for like a couple of reasons. One, I just feel like having a D&M and there's no one here to have one with, so you guys get it. And secondly, because I was 24 the first time I ever had to experience grief. And for some people, that's like they haven't experienced grief yet. And for some people, that's like, oh my God, you haven't experienced loss yet. And it's like, being 24, so I'm 25 in like a week. Oh my God, literally this time next week, your girl's going to be 25. Hell yeah. But like, I just feel like your 20s are so fucking weird. And like, one minute you're out like having the time of your life, bendering every weekend. And then the next minute you're starting a fucking business of your dreams and you have a pet, 2 pet cats and 2 pet dogs. And you're just like, holy shit, this is so good. And you're just traveling with like your soulmate. And then like the next minute, you have to process losing someone who is closest to you in your life and then just like still navigate everything. It's just like this weird cooked energy. And like, I know that like it can happen at any age, but I guess my point is I did not know what to do when my nana passed away in terms of like, what is actually normal to feel right now? Like what is actually okay? Like, am I okay? Like, you know, it was just like this really weird, confusing, it literally just felt like waves of the ocean hitting me at random moments. And like, it only happened a few months ago. I've definitely not processed it. I mean, wait, I've definitely not completely processed it, but I have sat with it enough and like allowed myself time enough to like be able to speak of it, but I still have my moments of the waves. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it's not only like losing, you know, in my case, it's not just like losing my nan. It's like, that's then like my dad, my uncle, my auntie's mum. That's my pop's wife of his lifetime. Like this woman who was a part of each of our lives for pretty much our whole life. Because like my nan and pop, they got together when they were like very, very young. Like they've literally been together their entire life. They've literally known each other since like grade 2. So it's like, isn't it interesting when it's like a main character gets like taken off the scenes and it's like, how do you have to like recalibrate everything. You have to shift everything. And although my grandparents live on the Gold Coast and I grew up there, but like, although they're a few hours away, it's made it like this weird energy to like grieve because I'm like, I wasn't seeing her every day. I wasn't calling her every day because she was very unwell and had very like shortness of breath and things like that. But it was like, it's just this whole like rebirthing experience for everyone on like such different levels, and everyone just handles it so differently. Like some people go inward, some people get angry, some people get really sad, some people just want it to, you know, to get all the attention about it, and like some people want to just talk about the good times and some people just don't even want to talk about it at all. And it's just such a fucking weird thing, like navigating grief. And when it happened for me, my nan had been, like I said, a little bit earlier. Like my nan was in and out of hospital, like honestly for the past, like I would say like 5 or so years. Like I literally remember when I worked at Macca's like fucking ages ago. Like I worked there like 7 years ago actually, probably. You know, even when I worked there, she was in, like, we had a scare back then and like thought we were going to have to say bye. So it was like this weird, when she went into hospital this time, it definitely felt different. Like I remember my brother called me. I think it was my brother. I can't even remember, but called me. No, not right. That was not my brother that called me. I called my pop and I said, oh my God. Anyway, that doesn't even matter, that part of the story. But anyway, I called and like, yeah, like Nan's in hospital. And I remember calling my brother and saying, we have to go say bye to Nan. Like, it was like this weird, like, usually I wouldn't say that. Usually I'd just be like, oh, we should go down and see Nan while she's in hospital. But it was like a different vibe. It was like my intuition was just like, you just know. When you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we went down and like all the things. And then because Nan had been like in and out of hospital for years, it was like this, when she actually passed, it was like this fucking weird feeling of like, is that actually what just happened? Like that shock response, right? Which is like super normal. Anyway, I don't really want to go into like that whole side of it. What I kind of just wanted to bring into that is just like, it's so weird just being like 24 and then never having experienced it before, because a lot of the people around me, their grandparents passed away when they were younger. They kind of dealt with grief younger. But being hit with such a heavy emotion at like such an older age, like I know 24 is not old, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of like mid-20s, you're like, feel like you've experienced it all, and then it like whacks you again and something changes and shifts like so dramatically. And I feel like it was super weird. My sister lost her dad last year, and we spoke about this in like the first episode back of the season, and like when Nellie's dad passed away, that was grief for me. But that was another thing, like when my nan passed away, it's like it activated me to actually feel the grief for Nellie's dad as well. It was like this whole fucking thing. And I feel like it's just really important to know that like we all do navigate things so fucking differently. And like, I know I already said that in this episode, but it's like, give yourself grace for however you're feeling. And I was really struggling with this at the very start, because I was like, I'm a productive person. Like my routine for a long time has been like yoga every morning, getting up at 4:30, between 4:30 and like 5:30 every morning, depending on where I am in my cycle. Yoga every morning, meditation every morning, journaling, then I've got uni, and then I've got work. And, you know, it was like I had this beautiful flow, and I still had spaciousness in my days, and I always feeling really motivated and always just feeling really full of energy. And then this happened, and it was like, I completely lost it. I completely lost who I was for a moment there, but like not from a space of like I lost myself and it was toxic. It was more just I needed to deal with like the heaviness of the grief like so much, like it consumed me. It is probably the best way. And like I know like a lot of people say you know, you can navigate the hardest things in your life, but like when you let go of your like routines, that's when you can see like what you're really integrated in, or like something like that. There's a lot of like mindset coaches on Instagram and stuff that will just say like, you know who you are when you're at your lowest. And I totally agree with that. But I can say from experience, like when my nan passed away, I was shaming myself for actually letting go of my routine, because I was like, who the fuck do you think you are to like be, you know, teaching women about like optimal productivity and like their menstrual cycle when like you are literally sleeping in until like 7, 8, 9 a.m. Some days I was sleeping until 12, which is just so unlike me. But it needed to happen, and it was just the season of life that I was in. And, you know, if you are someone who, and like this can even apply to like heartbreak. This can apply to literally your boyfriend of 2 months leaving you. Like don't think, or like you leaving them, or like something happening. Like grief is grief. And whether it's your boyfriend of 2 months leaving you, whether it's your friend of 5 years saying that they don't want you in their life anymore, whether it's your dad passing away, or, you know, like grieving a past version of you. Grief is fucking grief. And I don't want anyone listening to this invalidating themselves in that this can't apply to them, because grief, little or big, it's still there. And we all experience it in such different ways. And I just want this to be your permission slip to like hear the words I have to say and like find the opportunities to grow from this rather than play victim to it as well. Because like, yeah, my nan passed away, but like grief, I don't know, everyone just feels everything differently. And I just want you to know that like what I'm speaking about right now might apply to you in a very different situation, but like your situation is still so fucking valid. It's not about playing victim to the situation. It's just about seeing that like, cool, this happened to me. Cool, I'm losing my routine a little bit too, but how can I look at it from a new perspective? And that's what I really want to bring to you. So like I said, I was really shaming myself and I was really just like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like all that stupid shit was coming up. And then I just had this moment of like realizing, and I started going to a psychologist again, and I also have my business coach, and I have a beautiful partner who supports me so much, and I have friends and like all the things, right? So I was like leaning in as much as I could, allowing myself to speak, journaling in times, but I did really let go of a lot of like those sort of practices because, to be honest, every time I found stillness, I would just cry. Or like, and it's still happening, like not fucking out every time. I'm like chill now, like I'm not like this big ball of sadness, but it's like, that's what I mean. Like I kind of think it's from allowing myself to just let go of all routines, let go of all fucking, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, whatever. And I just let myself like journey. Like it was just like, yep, okay, can't have clients for a few weeks. Yep, okay, this doesn't feel good. But I was never doing it from a place of like, I knew that it was going to be forever. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's kind of like, I always knew that it was just going to take some time, and I was just allowing myself that time. And although like the shame came up for a bit at the start of like, who do you think you are? It did quickly shift because I began to see, well, this is actually how I need to process it. And everyone's different. And this is a very different circumstance to just, you know, feeling like you have no clarity in your business. Like it's very different energy, like, you know, grief versus like getting no clients in your business. Like they're different kind of like low points in life. And I feel like I was just taking like that quote way too seriously at the start. Then I was like, fuck this. But what I've come into recently, so like since, it was so weird. Like it was literally March was so fucked. And then as soon as we hit April, I'm like, birthday month, let's go. And what I've really come into is like, it's actually really allowed me to find a new routine. Like it has allowed me to see that like yoga in the morning, meditation first thing in the morning isn't actually what I like to do anymore. I've been journaling in the morning, and I've actually switched my workout routine to be doing like gym or yoga in the middle of the day. I've started going back to like bar. I used to love bar and Pilates, and I stopped doing it like ages ago just because I have a home gym. And it really allowed me to just see in all of that, in all of the grief, in all of the mess, and all of the things, the chaotic things that were going on, like when you actually do just like give yourself time that you need and shift from shaming yourself to actually accepting that that's what you need. One, you do get back on track a lot quicker, but two, it's that whole energy of surrender. And I think something else I want to add is like I said at the start of this episode, I feel like I've almost gone through this like maturity or like taken on parts of my nan or like something. Like it's this super weird like thing I can't explain. And like I would actually love to hear if anyone's listening and like has experienced grief of like someone really close, if you like know what I'm talking about, because like it's one of those weird things. But I think like a really big thing that I really wanted to also just like I guess wrap this episode up with is like that energy of like allowing myself the time to actually sit with it, to just sit with whatever the fuck was coming up. And then it's like I have hit this like whole new level of maturity. And I mean, like I said, guys, I'm 25 next week, but like it's this whole new like energy of like maturely, oh my God, I can't speak. Maturely, you know, approaching the situation with like a mature mindset of like, okay, this is what's happened. There's nothing I can do about it. And as much as I would love to do something about it, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. What does my body need right now? Okay, cool. My body needs to like rest. My body needs to shift. My body needs to transition. It's going through like quite a rebirth. And then entering that space of acceptance, accepting, okay, this is what's happened. There's nothing I can do. How can I move forward? How can I allow myself to live for my nan rather than feeling like it's not fair. Like, do you know what I mean? It's almost like, okay, cool. Like, what are some things my nan just didn't get to do in this lifetime that I can get to now do for her? And like, yeah, landing in like more maturity, I guess. But yeah, that's like a random D&M, but now I'm like getting exhausted from talking about this. I feel like it's just a natural like response to trauma. And like I said, I'm still definitely processing all of this, but I think actually speaking about it, although I don't feel emotional, it's really like exhausting because it was a very traumatic experience actually. But that's not what we're here for. And I'm actually fine and I have so much support. I'm not saying that from a space of like, poor me. I'm just saying it like, oh my God, it just is like so mentally draining actually when I really, really focus on like what's happened the last few months. But to finish it off on a high, like business has never been fucking better. I have not been fucking better. I've been hitting fucking PBs at gym, like left, right and center. Feeling so good. Birthday next week. Can't get any better. So I kind of just wanted to end it there because it's like, shit, things can happen. Things can happen that you feel like are unfair, but what lens are you going to look at it through? Are you going to just let it consume you and control you and all the things and be like this fucking lifelong thing of just poor me? Or are you just going to fucking go, what can I actually do now to like live for that person? And I feel like that's like the biggest act of love. And I feel like that's the biggest act of gratitude because there's just so many things that like I know. Like even when we traveled just the day, like after my nan passed and I had one of her necklaces with me and I just took it with me everywhere and it just felt like I was taking her with me and it's just like so special. Like how can you just like live for that person? And like I mean, if you're someone who's like has literally gone through a breakup and that's the grief you're feeling, like babe, like how can you just fucking live for yourself even more? Like with just like so much oomph in your step of like, I'm a bad bitch. Do you know what I mean? It's like really just shifting your perspective. Like take the lessons from it and just come to a space of acceptance. And it's going to take some people longer. It's going to take some people not as long. Sometimes people, like I said, with my sister's dad dying, I kind of didn't let myself sit with that for nearly a year. Like it's nearly been a year since he passed away next month. But it wasn't sort of until weirdly the week before my nan passing and then my nan passing that I really grieved Nath leaving us. So it's like that's a whole, it's always going to be different for everyone, and just comparison is a killer. So don't compare yourself even to your family members, even to people who are losing the same person as you, because no one has the same relationship to the person that you've lost as you do. No one is ever going to know the side of that person that you know. No one is ever going to love that person the way you love that person. And I think that's something that's really, really fucking cool and really unique and really, really special, because that's what you get to take away from that relationship. And that's a lesson that you get to learn, is like, no one's ever going to love you the way that they loved you, and you're never going to love someone the way that you loved them. And it's like this whole beautiful sacred connection that you just get to have as a part of your life journey. And you can harness that in like such beautiful ways of like just the lessons that you get from it, the beautiful experience that we're all intertwined in that, and like just such a gift that is. Even if it is a relationship that's ending, it's like you can still honor it so deeply. That just felt so nice to say. I hope, y'all are having a great morning, night, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever fucking time it is for you. I'm gonna go now and probably honestly, after, like I said, I'm feeling a bit tired. I might just have a little day nap and then get into some uni work. But thank you all for your support since I've rebranded the potty. And I hope you're like loving the guests I'm having on. I'm just trying to keep it real casual and just like simple, because I feel like it's kind of just what I am. Chaotic, simple, casual, all the things. Anyway, be back in your ears next week, my love. Have a beautiful weekend. Love ya. Thank you so much for being a listener of the podcast. I love and appreciate you so much. And to show my appreciation and love for you, head on over to my Instagram at sacredspace_w2nicolais. Jump in my DMs, let me know why you love the podcast, and I'll send you a little something special. See you next week.